This week on Full Credit to the Noise, brought to you by Parcel Protect. Max gets his first ever win in a Ferrari. Christian Horner choosing between teams to work for in his F1 return. And Ferrari F1 signed the Pope in a final act of desperation. Welcome to Full Credit to the Noise. Well, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Full Credit to the Noise. You can find this podcast on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at FCTTN Podcast. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, and Facebook at former_legend. Still hanging in there, Scott Blue Sky. You can find the bloke across from me on Twitter at AVL_motorsport. He's on Instagram at AVL.motorsport. He's a man who this week said that AFL was the real winner on Saturday afternoon. He spent all of Saturday night hand rolling 15 spliffs for Snoop Dogg. And tonight he's wearing a puffy shirt. Welcome to Speedcafe's Andrew van Leeuwen.
Thank you, Former. Yes, the less said about Saturday, the better, I reckon.
Yeah, no good? Do you think the AFL still haven't got parity just exactly right, or...?
Nah, yeah, there's definitely some issues there.
Because you blokes stop quickly.
Yep, definitely pretty good on the brakes there about halfway through the third quarter. Anyway...
You wiped your Catman makeup off straight away. You didn't do a piece to camera or anything, mate. It was just all over, was it? That's it? You're not doing that for the rest of the summer?
That was it. Cricket season started well before that game ended, trust me.
Well, I mean, the one highlight motor racing-wise from the grand final was the Toyota Supra car, as they're calling it, featured on the Melbourne Cricket Ground amid the celebrations of the AFL grand final. I'm really looking forward to seeing it in a different livery, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I agree. I think I don't know the livery does much to it.
No.
Does much for it, sorry. Again, I'll be honest, I wasn't watching much of the post-game celebration, so I don't really know in what way it did feature and how it looked. But I don't feel that livery does heaps for the shape of that car. I'm really looking forward to seeing a proper livery on that thing.
If you didn't see it, it was kind of like an extra in the home and away diner. It didn't say a lot, it didn't do a lot. It was just in the background every now and then if you caught a glimpse of it. The other thing that was on over the weekend was the High-Tech Super Series from Mallala. Great track, Mallala, by the way. Looked to be some good racing. Blake Tracy and Jared Hughes shared the spoils there. And the track owners announced a crowd of 47,000 people, AVL.
They must have had a press release ready to go, just change some of the names. That's funny. It was good to see proper, sort of national level car racing back at Mallala, but
been there a couple of times. I like that joint for some reason. I don't know why. Adelaide's a good town, let's be honest, and it's not a bad place to go and have a look at a motor race.
Yeah, I'm going to drag the Formula Ford over for the 1600 Nationals in November, the week before the Adelaide's. Yeah, for sure. So, I was watching on, trying to get a bit of a feel. I drove there once in 2006. I drove a sports car there, and that's the only time I've ever driven there. So I've got a bit of learning to do, but looking forward to that.
Very good. All right, let's go to the shift cut because there's a bit of news blowing around.
4, 3, 1.
And we start with, nothing big, but Todd Hazelwood emerged unscathed from a slow-speed rollover during a driver coaching day at Queensland Raceway, just over a fortnight out from defending his Bathurst 1000 crowd. Hazelwood lost control of his little Hyundai, or not his, at the high-speed turn one, resulting in the car digging into the gravel trap and rolling onto its side. Do you still have to pay for his services if he bins your car, AVL? Is that the...
Oh, I think he did. He did tell. Stefan did a chat with him, and he did say that he wasn't going to send an invoice for his driver coaching for that day. There was surprisingly little damage to the car, but he had a big day because he went from rolling that XL to actually setting a new lap record at QR in that time attack weapon that he drives around in. So there'd be nothing slow speed about throwing that off the road. I tell you, if that had gone the wrong way. And I'm pretty sure it was the day before his birthday, and he was posting photos on socials being up in a hot air balloon the next morning. So at least he got his sort of debacles out of the way the day before he hopped in the giant floating balloon of air and took off the ground. So yeah, it was a big week for Toddy.
Nothing more romantic than being in a hot air balloon early in the morning with the loved one. Some random dude who drives it and 14 other I love you. In a wicker basket, just wherever the wind wants to take you, that's where you're heading. What a time out. As we told you last week, Cam Hill has been confirmed at BJR. Bryce Ford has been announced as leaving. DJ Jimmy Golding is confirmed at BRT after leaving Premiere. And so they'll keep tumbling and moving, AVL. I pretty much think that for the most, we got them all right last week.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I think everything we ran through, everything that's been confirmed that we ran through last week has fallen. Those dominoes have fallen as we kind of expected them to. There is a fairly hefty analysis on it all in the news pod that Stefan and I did at the end of last week as well, for anyone that wants to go and listen to that. But yeah, the grid's starting to come together. And I guess it'll be interesting to see if there is a full-time home for Bryce on the grid next year. I think you tipped him as maybe a chance at MSR, which there has been some talk about. So, yeah, it'll be fascinating to see sort of where Bryce ends up, whether it's full-time or whether he does a Toddy Hazelwood and sort of, goes and lands a good enduro drive somewhere. It'll be interesting to see how that shakes out.
Yeah. Felipe Massa's long-running pursuit of justice over Formula One's famous or infamous Crashgate scandal is set to move into the courtroom, AVL, with the former Ferrari driver's lawsuit scheduled for its first hearing in London next month. The 44-year-old is seeking up to $82 million in damages. Good luck, son. From the FIA, claiming their handling of the 2008 Singapore Grand Prix denied him the World Championship. Massa was leading at the time when Piquet Jr. hit the wall, and because there was no cranes at the section he hit the wall, they had to basically stop the race. The plan allowed Fernando Alonso, who just pitted, to benefit from the timing and go on to win the race. There was a bloke tied up in all of that, AVL, by the name of Briatore, I think. He copped a lifetime ban from Formula One. Whatever happened to him? You're the man about town.
Yeah, well, funnily enough, he runs one of the F1 teams again now.
Really?
Which is,
I don't think so, mate.
It's quite
it's a lifetime
surprising.
ban.
Yeah, that one didn't quite stick. But for all of that, this is just one of the dumbest crusades I've ever heard of. Like, just stop it, Felipe. Just leave it alone. You didn't win the World Championship. It didn't, yes, this was a terrible luck that you were badly implicated in this, but I just don't get it. And he's saying he's never going to stop. He's going to keep going. But I reckon you just got to let this one go, mate.
I'm not going to lie. I'm all team Felipe. To have Hamilton drop down one title, that would be fantastic. I don't think it actually can happen. He's just going for the cash. So,
yeah.
He was wronged. We all can probably agree on that. That was
for sure
since been proven. But
anyway. You also can't. If it had been something in the very last race, you could draw the direct line and say, well, this happened and this directly impacted whether I won the World Championship or not. Something that happens midway through the season, it's very difficult to then, once the butterfly flaps its wings, what else changes between there and the end of the season or whatever. There's just a whole, it's just far too messy. I just can't see how it would ever work.
Once the butterfly flaps its wings. Thank you very much, Yoda. Max Verstappen allegedly lowered his own benchmark at the Nürburgring, with reports suggesting the Dutchman clocked a 7-minute 45 lap, which was 3 seconds faster than his previous best in a GT3 car in Friday practice. After qualifying third in a misty and rainy qualifying, Verstappen then started his number 31 machine for the 4-hour race. And immediately earned the lead. He then went onto the race to completely dominate, with his teammate Chris Lullum to win by 24 seconds. On the same weekend that Max was driving a Ferrari around one of the toughest tracks in the world, Lando Norris was getting photos taken of him picking flowers for Vogue magazine, AVL, just to put it into contrast.
Mm-hmm. Was this aren't these like when Max did that lap at the Nürburgring?
Yep.
Not in a race setting. Remember he did a lap or
Yes.
something that was like under the record, and all the GT heroes were saying
Chris
the
Mees
thing
and
must be
everyone's
illegal.
like...
It must be no good. It turns out he might just be pretty good at driving GT3 cars.
I believe he's handy. Yeah. If he ever wanted to look at Formula One, I feel like he might go all right in that. But, yeah.
I do really enjoy the fact that he does put himself out there and do this sort of stuff, because I feel that F1 has become, and you look at, it's become so specialised now that you just don't see guys don't want to do this. They used to be drivers that could go and race anywhere and do anything. And now they're just not. And I think there's a concern that F1 cars, again, are so specialised that you might not be quick if you jump in something else. And then everyone's going to say, well, you're meant to be an F1 driver. Why aren't you going fast? And I just don't think Max gives a flying F about that.
No.
I think he's just pretty confident that he could hop in anything and drive it really, really fast. And I think that's pretty awesome.
I reckon it is too. Christian Horner is free to return to Formula One in 2026 after formally leaving Red Bull. It's believed, do you reckon he texted everyone? Snapchat probably. It's believed that Horner can make a comeback from next spring, though he doesn't just want to be a team principal this time. The consensus is that he'll take a stake in a team, to consolidate his power. Early rumours had him going to Alpine, however, that might have been scuttled as the BBC's Andrew Benson wrote this week that their new engine partners, Mercedes, don't really like the Britain, a legacy of their rival in the last decade or so. It's said that Aston Martin is also out as a clause in Adrian Newey's contract prevents him from joining the team as well. He's also being linked with Haas, who have formed a technical alliance with Toyota. What are you betting?
I don't know. I think that the way that their clause works is that he can't actually come until the next season starts, or
spring, I think. So probably the back end.
Yeah, so well, that'd be their spring, wouldn't it? Would that be Northern Hemisphere spring? So
sure.
I think it's just around the season start or after the first couple of races or something like that. So yeah, I don't know where he's going to. I've got absolutely no line of sight on where he might end up, but I think he will end up somewhere. I think he just enjoys the attention too much to not do it. Like I really do. I can't imagine him just. No, like he'd never have to work again with that payout that he's getting. Like he would never have to work ever again.
Yeah.
But I think he just enjoys the limelight too much. I honestly do.
Mick Schumacher will join Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing at Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course on October 13 to test the IndyCar around that track. Schumacher said he was interested in seeing how the IndyCar compares to cars he's previously driven. RLL say that quick, said the test would enable Schumacher to familiarise himself with the technical specifications of the IndyCar series with an eye toward possible participation in the future. This is where I feel like Jack Doohan needs to sort of also start looking rapidly. I don't think you can sit around the paddock just hoping that somehow you're going to re-pick up a spot. I don't know about you, but from the moment Mick Schumacher was let go, I'd never seen him returning.
No, and I think that is a worthwhile comparison there because I kind of feel the same. You know, you look at your Bottas's and your Perez's and they have kind of found the avenue back in, but they were probably just, like proven race winners, just added a slightly different level to these, to maybe your Mick Schumachers and your Jack Doohan. So I think that that looking elsewhere is probably a wise move in both cases here.
Pope Leo the 14th has received a Formula One steering wheel used by Ferrari driver Charles Leclerc during a private event at the Vatican. He also received a scale model of an SF90XX Stradale presented by Ferrari chairman John Elkman. As Elkman handed Poppy Leo the wheel, he said, "If you look closely, you can see where Charles has headbutted it repeatedly when told to pit." The Pope told Elkman that he couldn't really do anything with the big boy upstairs to help Ferrari win a GP, saying, "I'm a pontiff, not a magician." Poppy Leo then said, when asked if he could say a prayer to God for the Ferrari, he said, "I will, but I think he's busy at the Nürburgring this weekend." See what I did there? MotoGP, AVL, and Ducati rider Francesco Bagnaia bounced back from recent woes to score a dominant victory in the Japanese Grand Prix sprint race, while his teammate Marc Marquez inched closer to the podium on Saturday. And then on Sunday in the Grand Prix, it was pretty much the same thing. Bagnaia won the race. Marquez held second and secured his 7th MotoGP world title, breaking a 2,184-day drought. Absolute weapon. He is now level with Rossi. If you don't think Rossi has realised that, you're kidding yourself. And he will, maybe this time in 12 months, be the outright greatest rider ever. It's
hard to see how anyone beats him next season, right? Like I don't study MotoGP.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I don't study it religiously, but I really just can't. He just seems like he is on another planet.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. In Moto 2, Senna Agius qualified 20th and he lasted 3 laps before a DNF. And in Moto 3, Joel Kelso qualified 3rd. Jake Ralston qualified 22nd. Kelso slipped to 8th in the race. Ralston rose 10 positions to 12th. Kiwis and Aussies overseas will go to NASCAR because SVG had quite the weekend. He qualified 24th in the Barron Trump Tylenol 400, but he was stung with a raft of penalties for an illegal front splitter that resulted in him getting these. And listen carefully, he had to start start at the rear of the grid. His team lost its pit selection. He served a stop-go penalty after taking the green flag. Crew chief Stephen Doran was ejected from the event. All that, and SVG recovered from being 2 laps down to finish a career best 10th on an oval in the race won by Cliff Hanger.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah. LMGT3, Yasser Shahin scored his first LMGT3 podium since the FIA World Endurance Championship season opener with a third at Fuji Speedway over the weekend. And in enduro racing, Australian Daniel Chucky Sanders has been crowned 2025 FIM World Rally Raid Champion for Red Bull KTM with a victory at the BP Ultimate Rally in Portugal. So well done to him, AVL. Fantastic effort.
If you ever wonder why his nickname is Chucky, go and watch the Summer Grill episode from the last season of the KTM Summer Grill. It is a truly disgusting story, but one that you've really got to hear.
I would have thought his nickname would have been Colonel, but anyway, all right. And just before we finish, AVL, I should say, valet to media legend Ali Drower. Of course, she's also the mum of supercars racer Zach and wife of Aussie rally ace Rick. She passed away on Sunday after a short battle with cancer. Absolute legend of the sport, and our heart goes out to the Bates family and, of course, Ali Drower's family as well.
Yeah, for sure. It's really sad. Obviously, Zach Bates is a lovely young guy, and the entire Bates crew are a really lovely family. So, our thoughts are with them through what is a really tough time.
Full credit to the noise.
Winter could spell bad news for your vehicle's battery. Here are 3 maintenance tips from the battery gurus at R&J Batteries. 1. Avoid frequent short trips to keep your battery at a healthy state of charge. 2. Keep the battery terminals clean and corrosion-free. 3. Avoid running your accessories with the engine off for too long. If your battery is 3 years or older, it might be time to get it tested for free at your local R&J Batteries. R&J Batteries, power like nothing else.
Yes, welcome back. Now, here's something new, AVL. What I thought I'd do, I went back through Twitter where, of course, you absolutely dominate. And I
need to get my Twitter going again. I haven't used it for ages.
You know what? When I went back there on the weekend, I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot about this. So what I did was I went and found a bunch of not very old, some of them aren't that old, tweets from motorsport personalities. Now, they could be drivers, they could be media, whatever. I'm going to read you their tweet. You just tell me who you think it's from, okay?
Okay. I've not seen any of these.
You've not seen any of these deliberately because I thought you'll Google them because you're that competitive. But I want to see how many you get right. So we'll start with this one. I'll give you a clue just so it's a little bit easier. This is from an American. I don't know what's going on, but I keep sending tweets in my head and not in real life. American driver.
Logan Sargent?
No. Do you think he might have had concussion or something? No, he's this dude. I actually started going back through all his old tweets. He's become one of my favourite people on Twitter. David Malukas. If you haven't followed him on Twitter from IndyCar, get around him because his Twitter is absolutely lit. One of the things is there's about 5 tweets I could have used. One of them was about his mum, but I thought it would have been in bad taste. All right.
He's going to Penske, right?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. How about this one? This is from another American. Taylor Swift is a has-been. I'll give you a clue. Opinionated, American race car driver.
It's got to be a NASCAR driver?
Yes.
It's got to be Kyle Busch?
Oh, you're so close. Kyle Larson. Yeah.
Wow.
And I'll disagree with that. Taylor Swift is a has-been. Taylor Swift is a never was. Now, this one from a former Formula One driver. Thanks to Honda, Taki Inui is no longer Japan's biggest failure. Who wrote that?
This is hard.
Yeah, I know.
This is a former Formula One driver.
Correct.
Is it Jacques? Jacques Villeneuve?
No, it's Taki Inui.
I should have known that. He's an absolute lord on Twitter, isn't he? He loves it.
Yes. Yeah. Here's a bloke who I happened to have a conversation with over summer. This one. 45-minute boiled eggs this morning. Forgot them. Forgot them there. Hashtag firm. I'll give you a clue. Overseas rally ace.
And you had a chat with him, did you say?
Yes, over probably around February, March.
Peter Solberg?
Close. Heikki Kovalainen.
Well, he was an F1 driver, not a rally ace.
That's a good call. Sorry. Here's a definite F1 driver. I'll give you a clue. He's actually driving F1 right now.
All right.
Damage limitation today. We were having a good race until Perez tried to kill me 2 times. Anyway, he didn't manage to do that, so I ended up P9.
Is this like a Nico Hulkenberg sort of setup?
Close. It's Esteban Ocon.
Yeah. Yep. That's a good... I should have got that one.
I'll give you a clue. This next bloke you don't like. Rain is only a problem if you don't want to get wet.
Well, this sounds like this tweet's right up my alley, so I can't imagine it's from someone that I don't like. I don't know. Who don't I like? I like everyone.
Overrated Formula One driver in your opinion.
Oh, Fernando Alonso.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. That's a good one. Nah, that's it. I don't want to hear any more about the rain from him.
This is my favourite one I found. I just noticed @Jensen Button unfollowed me. That's a shame. After 3 years as teammates, I thought we respected one another, but clearly he doesn't.
Lewis?
Yeah. Then he followed it up with, my bad. Just found out @Jensen Button never followed me. Don't blame him. I need to be on Twitter more. I'm going to tell you this one is an absolute fruitcake. You can figure it out from there. While the Democrats are burning perfectly good Teslas and continuing to be totally...
Danica Patrick. I had it before you started talking, but when you said Democrats, then it was all over.
What about this one in a reply to a fan? So what would you preferred me to talk about yesterday, Greg, when the main story was whether Oscar could make the one stop onto mediums work and win, or whether Lando would close the gap on the hard tyre and find a chance to win? Neither Martin or myself expressed a desire for Lando to win and were full of praise for Oscar. So what's your beef?
That's got to be some crofty work, surely.
That's crofty. Why would you engage? All right, closer to home. Australians. My parents are such boomers, they prefer standard definition TV channels.
Who wrote that?
I'll give you a clue. The bloke's parents listen to this show.
I got no idea.
That's Reynolds.
David Reynolds.
Yeah.
Reynolds.
That's Reynolds.
Out of all the things Reynolds has tweeted, that is probably one of the least cooked things, I reckon.
I had to sift through the tinfoil hat gear to find something worthy. What about this one? And it's about David Reynolds. I find David very annoying and it's always a chore to hang out with him. Who wrote that? Absolute god on Twitter.
Who would have written that? No, don't know.
Walkinshaw.
Yes, of course. That does make a lot of sense.
What about this for an out there solution to supercars? A 250 horsepower push to pass might just be my favourite suggestion for supercars ever.
Oh, who did say that? No, don't know. You have to tell me.
You. You wrote that.
I did. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I did. It sound like a good point.
Yeah.
It would be amazing.
Here's the final one, and you should get this. If you don't get this, I'll eat me hat. Gee, tough day for the Kiwis so far. Scott McLaughlin out on the warm-up lap. Marcus Armstrong caught the Marco Andretti crash, as well as Scott Dixon having to brake fire and air jack issues. And that's just a fraction of the madness so far for the Kiwis.
Simon Chapman.
We get it, Chapo. You're a Kiwi. You don't have to keep telling us, mate, honestly. All right, we'll go to a break and we'll come back with some rear of grid.
Full credit to the noise.
If you're out there forklifting, bobcatting, jackhammering, backhoeing, trenching, digging, drilling and persuading, you want to know that if anyone is thieving your stuff, that your insurance company will be timely with approving. So get on to Truck Assist, the insurance to keep on earning, with cover for the machines you're hauling and your work truck too. Go to truckassist.com.au, then get back to all that persuading. Limits and exclusions apply. Consider the PDS and TMD on the Truck Assist website.
All right, welcome back to Rear of Grid. Now, before we go into some credit or shredders, AVL, I've been introduced to the world of Discord and I like it.
Yeah, it's fun, isn't it?
It's all right.
We are, of course, talking about the full credit to the noise Discord, which you get access to if you become a full creditor, our new sort of revised membership program. Thanks everyone who has signed up already. I've got to say the take up has been incredible. It's exceeded my expectations by a fair way, and the Discord is already a heap of fun. We're having some good banter in there, so and that'll become even more fun when there's actually some racing going on, and particularly some Grand Prix. This is a day. This will still be a nighttime Grand Prix. So when you've maybe had a couple of beers on a Sunday arvo and kind of throw in a few comments in the Discord, it could be a bit of fun. I do need to say congratulations to Jaden Young, who was the winner of the trip to the Gold Coast 500. That was drawn at the end of last week. So Jaden's going to be hitting up the coast for what should be a very fun weekend. I think the trip. I think that's as far as I know. It's the trip. Yeah. And why wouldn't you? You got to go on the trip. You got to. The Gold Coast is such a good event. It really is.
I told him what to do. $5,000 in the casino. Black, red. Go to 20. Make it a real weekend.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. And Wednesday morning, we are announcing the winner of the September $500 Visa card. That is a monthly giveaway, so another great reason to sign up to be a full creditor.
All right, let's do some credit or shred it. And by the way, good group in that Discord chat. Really good fun. Yeah, good group of people. Credit or shred it. I'm going to make a statement. Simply credit or shred it, and we'll come back and revisit it. Number one. The fact that F1 is in unbelievably great financial health and yet marshals are all still volunteers around the world is absolutely crook.
Shred it.
Ooh, controversial credit. After all the whinging, all drivers are allowed to start the great race. Yet it won't make any ounce of difference to mixing up strategies. If the bender's any guide, only one full-timer took the opportunity to start the race there.
Shred it.
Credit. Singapore will show us exactly how much McLaren need to worry about Max.
Credit.
With his bona fide interest in GT3 racing, the Bathurst 12-hour organisers should be moving heaven and earth to try and get Max Verstappen onto the grid in 2026.
Credit, but with a big asterisk.
Credit. Marc Marquez is now the GOAT of MotoGP.
Yeah, credit.
Number 6, TA2 or Trans Am will make Super 2 defunct for talent spotting for future supercar drivers.
Shred it, but with a caveat. All right.
Unpaid volunteers while F1 is swimming in money.
I think it just opens up. Well, for starters, it's not necessarily. I mean, the events kind of facilitate the event, right? And with their relevant sort of governing body. But it also opens up another can of worms, I think, if you start paying people for those sorts of roles as well. So, yeah, it's just that the correlation between F1 making that money and paying the volunteers it doesn't quite work because, again, the Australian Grand Prix is responsible for doing that and Motorsport Australia. So they're already spending a lot of money to have Formula One there, and if you then ramped up the cost
easy fix for the FAA to say, or the F1 company to say, here's $100,000 for wages for marshals for the weekend.
Yeah, I think that money complicates matters like that as well, and there would be. I think if it was that easy, it would be a thing that happens already. I guess that's why I have it as a shred, not a credit. No, it's not because I don't think marshals should be paid if it was possible to do so. Obviously, it's hard work, and that would be great for that to be the case. But I don't feel like it's that simple.
All the whinging, the mixing up of the strategies while allowing anyone to start won't make any ounce of difference because everyone will just mirror the same strategy anyway at Bathurst.
I don't think so because I think we'll see a lot more mix and matching at Bathurst. I reckon there's a few teams that now they've done their debrief and that sort of stuff. If they had their time again, they would have done the same thing that Erebus did at the Bend. So I think that if you reran the Bend tomorrow, I think you see more of a mix of it anyway. And I think at Bathurst, you'll see an even bigger mix of it because I think that you could see from that Erebus straight, like that worked for them.
Yeah.
And if you put that faith in your co-driver to do a stint up against and again, it's only sort of one stint there, the way the double sort of stints fall at the Bend. But it will definitely help with strategy at Bathurst for sure.
I'll change mine to credit then, or whatever it was. Singapore tell us how much McLaren need to worry about Max. I think if Max sticks it on pole, it'll be panic stations.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends where the McLarens are. This was a really good race for McLaren last year, and it's been pretty tough for Max the last couple of years from memory as well. So I think that's why it will be a good sort of litmus test. I think what the real test is, I don't think it's actually, none of this is really about Max. Like, it's about Oscar and Lando, and it'll be the test will be whether they are cracking under the pressure or not, because you could make an argument at Baku that they did. And obviously Oscar cracked in a fairly more significantly damaging way than Lando did, but Lando also just did not execute on that weekend at all. And to me, he, as we discussed last week, he bottled it just as hard as Oscar did, really. So that's what will be very interesting to see in Singapore. So I think it will go a long way to telling us whether Max is really in the game or not, but I think it's more of a test for the McLaren drivers than it is for Max.
Any chance Max comes to Bathurst to the 12
Well, your big issue here is that moving heaven and earth isn't the problem. It's moving the second preseason test for the F1 season, which is on the same week as the Bathurst 12 hour next year. So there is no doubt that it would be huge for that event. Look at what Valentino Rossi has done for that event.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
So it would definitely be a massive thing. But as much as Max may be loving this GT3 racing, I think getting up to speed with a brand new set of F1 rules might take precedent come next February. But tell you what, there was the first 12-hour entry announced today, which is the Scott Taylor Motorsport car. So Lowndesy out, Chaz Mostert in, alongside Cam Waters and Tommy
Pretty strong.
So, yeah, they build themselves as the Australian team, Like this is a home run team with three Aussie drivers having a crack at it. So, definitely a pretty strong lineup there.
Just quietly, if they could do something with that livery, that'd be fantastic. But, it's an extremely strong car. I'd love to see it. I just don't think so. Although our very good friends at Ford trying to enter a Mustang for the first time in GT3, what better way than to debut Ford's newest global signing than Max Verstappen?
I think you could see it in the future at some point, but I don't think it's a next year thing, just because of the simple fact of that he'll be in an F1 car doing preseason testing.
Marquez is now the GOAT of MotoGP. I tell you what, if he's not, he's right on the precipice.
Numbers not my expert field, but I really think that there's a big case to be made here. Just given everything he's gone through and the story as a whole, and again, I think the numbers, there's every suggestion that in a couple of years, the numbers will tell the story anyway, in terms of how many titles that he's won. But we published a poll on our Pertec poll on Monday asking this very question, and I just checked the live results, and it's pretty comprehensively in favour of Mark being the new MotoGP GOAT. Yeah,
I don't think that would please Valentino one little bit, by the way. You think he wouldn't be taking that personal? I'm telling you he would. And finally, Trans Am as the talent spotting pool for future supercar drivers over Super 2.
I went with Shredded here, even though I don't fully disagree with the premise. I think Trans Am is definitely at a point now that if someone can win there, you have to take them seriously.
Yep.
But I don't think it'll run Super 2 out of business. Super 2 might run itself out of business if they don't get on top of some cost containment and that sort of stuff. But the fundamental idea of a proper second division where drivers can drive actual supercars, I think is still one that is going to exist into the future. They've definitely got a bit of a challenge with this whole Gen 3 thing with Super 2.
Big time.
I don't really know how they're going to solve that, but there will be a solution. I think it's great to have Trans Am there as a good benchmark sort of point for drivers. And the thing is with all of these categories, and this is something that Brody Kostecki was talking about on his podcast on the Lucky Dogs pod a few weeks ago, guys that are just natural born winners, you can spot that from any class. You look at someone like Will Brown. He just came up and won in everything he did until he got the supercars, and then he wins in supercars because that's how it works. So there are certain guys that don't need to do Super 2 because they've worked out that they're just natural born race-winning race car drivers. And then you've got guys that do need that time to sort of acclimatise to the car and then go on to have great careers in supercars as well. So I don't think TA2 will make Super 2 defunct, but I do think it is a great semi-affordable, although I think the cost, they're going to have some cost issues in the Trans Am world in the not too distant future anyway. But
Really? Motorsport? Who knew?
It's great to have a category like that we can sit back and really judge drivers and go, yeah, this guy or girl is pretty good because they're doing well in this class.
Our fan letter of the week, Dwight McAwesome. He says, "Hey team,
Great
question." Oh mate, yeah. What do you reckon his mum's name is? We'll get back to that. Ophelia, I'd reckon. Ophelia. Hey team, question. Gen 3 in practice. Now that we have Gen 3 cars and these are somewhat the same, why can't we open the doors for pre-season testing as in like 2 weekends? The cost would sit with the teams. The tracks could be picked by the teams to ensure no travel costs are incurred. This would give co-drivers valuable wheel time, teams a chance to refine their cars, and the race weekend could be one practice, qualifying, and a race. With the removal of team-developed parts and now a more off-the-shelf, super cheap auto shelf approach, what's the harm in teams doing more runs pre-season? It's their cost.
It is their cost, and that's why you can't. It's still a cost. You can't open it up any more than it is, because the rich teams will always take advantage.
The haves and the have-nots.
Yeah, because the cars are so like I get the point in that you're not developing parts anymore, so you could make the argument that makes testing less important, but it actually doesn't because everything is so focused on setup and driver input now. Like if you could just go and run around a track forever and ever, you're going to learn things about how to set the cars up, and that will there is a huge performance advantage to it. So. If you, I mean, I don't fully understand whether the proposal here is to just fully open it up pre-season, which would be disastrous, because Triple Eight would just go to every single track in the country and do a mountain of testing there, and most other teams wouldn't be able to afford to do that, and it would be really harmful to the competitive product, or whether it's just a couple of extra sort of pre-season test sessions, and again they got rid of that. They sort of tried to build more running into the weekend because every kilometre that a car covers, it costs money. So yes, it is at the team's cost, but that's kind of the point. And again, if there is a test session on, a team can't just say, well, we won't go because we can't afford it. They have to go. You have to be there doing it if the other teams are there doing it. So it is a cost that teams just won't necessarily be able to cover, or we end up in a place where teams can do it, but they need more money coming in the door, and we end up with more pay drivers, basically. So there's all these reasons why we definitely need to keep a lid on the whole testing thing.
What about this? A 2-day meeting, cars go out of the trucks and onto the track for a qualifying session of 20 minutes, and the first race is straight after that, as in like an hour after that. And then you do the same thing. Then you do another qualifying session and so you have 4 races over a weekend that are shorter races, but there's no practice sessions. It's all qualifying and racing.
Well, I mean, NASCAR almost do that. They do very limited practice as well. So, yeah, look, getting the teams to agree to that would be very, very difficult. But at the end of the day, I think always less practice is better. More competitive sessions is better. So, yeah, I don't know if we'll ever see anything that extreme, but, you look at some of those tweaks, like to Townsville, for example, this year, where we did have qualifying and racing on Friday, and you sort of go, well, this is better than practice. This is more fun to watch than practice, watching a race. Like, it's a better thing. So, yeah, I think anything along those lines.
What do you think about a midweek night meeting?
Yeah.
A midweek night meeting. You keen?
Yeah.
One category only, supercars.
You can make it work. It would be a good idea.
All right. Those and more ideas can be discussed over a bar at Bathurst in 2 weeks' time. Until then, that'll about do us for this episode of Full Credit to the Noise. Don't forget, you can find the show on all the socials at FCTTN Podcast. And you can read Aviel's excellent work over at speedcafe.com, where they break all the big motorsport news first. Until next time, I've been former Legend. He's been Aviel. This has been Full Credit to the Noise, and we'll see you at the NRL Grand Final, Aviel.
See you there.
Full credit to the noise.